It's not just about the outward actions, it's also about the heart. As we go on, we see Jesus continue. Verse 29, if your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. Very grave warnings for those who commit sin. And in context here, sins against the sixth commandment, which doesn't just include the outward actions of adultery, but also the inward actions of lust, and even attitudes about sex that don't coincide with God's intent. If you learned in catechism class the explanation for the sixth commandment, you shall not commit adultery, what does this mean? We should fear and love God, that we lead a pure and decent life in words and actions, and that husband and wife love and honor each other. It's also about having a high view of marriage, because ultimately that's why God puts this commandment in place. He doesn't give us the sixth commandment because he doesn't want people to enjoy themselves, or he doesn't want us to have any fun. No, he gives us this commandment to protect people, and to protect souls, and to protect families, and to protect marriage. To hold a high view of marriage, evidently a higher view than the people at Jesus' time had of marriage. He says, it has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. Like, if that's all you have to do to fill out the paperwork, doesn't matter about the motivation or the reason. Jesus says the motivation matters. He says, I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. That was the idea of the time. The idea of the teachings of the teachers of the law and the Pharisees was, again, the outward actions. You want to get a divorce? This is the form to fill out. But Jesus says, don't be so flippant with the way that you treat marriage. Because treating marriage like that is tantamount to adultery. And then he moves on. He says again, you have heard that it was said to people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. Right? This is an application of the second commandment. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. It seems a little dramatic, doesn't it, Jesus? That swearing or anything beyond a simple yes or no comes from the evil one? Well, think about it. What is the purpose for swearing? What is the reason that you might say, I swear to God, when you want someone to believe you? Doesn't it imply that other times when you aren't swearing, that maybe you aren't telling the truth, but this time I really am telling the truth, I swear? Jesus says it's far better to just tell the truth 100% of the time. Don't be known as somebody who lies so that you have to resort to swearing in the Lord's name. Simply let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything beyond that comes from the evil one. Again, something as common as saying, I swear, Jesus says you're actually falling into the devil's trap. The bottom line is that sin is serious, and it is a way bigger problem than we thought. Maybe you're here today and you're thinking, oh, Pastor, I'm not sure if I like this sermon. A lot of fire and brimstone today. A lot of talk about sin. Remember, this is the Sermon on the Mount. This isn't my sermon. This is Jesus' sermon. This is his teaching. He's the one that is shattering your illusions today. If you're watching online and you're thinking that you've got a pretty good standing with God because of your actions, or maybe you're here today and you think sin isn't really that big of a deal, or maybe sin is just what those bad people do out there. Listen to Jesus shatter those illusions, that you are just simply not as good as you thought.